Next month, a judge will sentence former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin for the murder of George Floyd. Chauvin was found guilty on all 3 counts against him, including second-degree unintentional murder that has a maximum sentence of 40 years in prison. But under Minnesota guidelines, the presumptive sentence for someone with no criminal record, like Chauvin, would be 12 and a half years. And with good behavior, he could be out in 8. That would mean Chauvin could get less than 1 year for every minute he squeezed the life out of Floyd's body. However, prosecutors are asking the judge in the case to give Chauvin a more severe penalty. In court documents filed Friday, prosecutors argued that there are 5 aggravating factors, any of which would be grounds for a harsher sentence. The documents cite Chauvin's abuse of power while inflicting gratuitous pain with other officers on a vulnerable George Floyd while in the presence of minor children. And joining me now are 2 of those prosecutors, Jerry Blackwell and Steve Schleicher, 2 fantastic prosecutors. I watched the trial every day that I was able to, and I think that you did a great job of telling a story. But there was one part of the story, and I'll start with you, Prosecutor Blackwell, Mr. Blackwell. I know you're not a prosecutor in your normal life, so I'll just call you Mr. Blackwell. Wasn't included, that we found out sort of kind of toward the end of the trial, that Derek Chauvin also has been a menace before. He has a violent history as a police officer of choking a teenager for 17 minutes and leaning on him for 17 minutes. Other use of force cases, at least 22 internal investigations. May I ask, number one, why that wasn't allowed to come in? And will that be used as more evidence of why he should get a harsher sentence at his sentencing?
Well, let me answer the first part of that. We had to make a strategic decision ourselves as to whether we were going to bring in any of those other incidents. We saw the video. We felt that when the jurors were able to see that video, it would pierce their consciousness in of and by itself. So we focused on what happened in what I call the 929 as the main thing. And then our focus in the trial was to keep the main thing, and then not to delve into so many of the other incidents that then would bring their own kind of proof issues and so on, and trying to introduce those where the defense will be able to respond to them. It's hard enough to convict a police officer, even with video of this sort. And we didn't want to leave any sort of margin where they could argue about something other than the conduct that everybody could see that George Floyd was subjected to. So we made a decision to keep focused on Mr. Chauvin's conduct as it related to George Floyd, and make that the main thing and have the whole trial center just on that.
So going forward, do you think that you'll make that same decision in the sentencing?
Well, will we?
In our sentencing, as you pointed out earlier in the segment, I mean, we've pointed to different features of this particular offense that could give the judge the ability to give a harsher sentence if the judge chooses. Now, the Attorney General has made clear he's not out for revenge. He wants accountability. He wants a fair sentence, but this is not a revenge sentence. But again, focusing on the conduct at hand, this isn't a defendant when they're sentenced before a judge. This isn't a St. Peter at the pearly gate kind of experience where you examine everything they've done in their life, right? Yeah. We're looking at the conduct that occurred on the ground at the time and the features of this conduct that may make it more serious and would give the judge the ability to give a higher sentence if possible. The presence of children. Go ahead.
Well, no, I wanted to, you make a really excellent point, Mr. Schleicher. I want to stay with you for just a moment because you had a great line. You both had some really memorable lines. But at the end, when you said, well, what's the motive? The motive was pride. And I think one of the most searing pieces of evidence in the trial was the face of Derek Chauvin, the sort of blank look that he had on. Even in the court, he didn't have any emotion. Whereas I contrast that with Officer Mohammed Noor, who got 12 and a half years, I believe it was for third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. This is him at his sentencing, Officer Mohammed Noor.
I have owed Miss Ruschek's family an apology for a long time. I did write them a letter while in jail, and now I apologize in person for taking the life of such a perfect person who was dear to them and so many others. I caused this tragedy, and it is my burden. I wish, though, that I could relieve that burden others feel from the loss that I caused. I cannot, and that is a troubling reality for me.
I have one question first to you, Mr. Schleicher, and then I have one more question for Mr. Blackwell. If there is no expression of remorse, will that wind up factoring in this case? And could it wind up factoring in the other three officers who are going to go on trial in the George Floyd murder?
I don't think that, in terms of what happens in the other cases, I really can't comment on those. Those are matters that are going to be dealt with later this summer. As far as whether an expression of remorse would assist the judge in determining what the proper sentence would be here, that certainly is something that a judge could find persuasive. I think that an expression of remorse or an acknowledgement is something that the community, the family, the whole system would find helpful. But, we just don't know. We don't know what his strategy is going to be, and we don't know what Judge Cahill will find persuasive. The sentencing a defendant, deciding what number of years in prison to sentence a defendant for criminal conduct is the hardest thing that a judge does. And I do not envy the judge in this case having to make that decision because it's very complicated.
It's very complicated, and there's a lot of implications, I think, for society. Mr. Blackwell, I have to come back to you for just a moment. I read some things about you that are very fascinating. You are not a prosecutor. You've been a defense attorney. My understanding is you worked on a posthumous pardon for a guy called Max Mason in a case that involved lynchings. There were people who were lynched in his case, 6 black circus workers who were accused of raping a white woman in 1920. They were lynched by a mob, and a mock trial was held. Max Mason was the only one sent to prison. You talk a little bit about sort of what inspires you to sort of get involved in these cases. I know you did in this one for free and also took time off of your beekeeping to do it.
No, the beekeeping is just an alternative way for me to be stung. So when I'm not doing the law. But with the Max Mason posthumous pardon, we knew that we were coming up on the 100-year anniversary of this tragedy in Duluth, Minnesota, and people don't think about sort of the Great White North as a place where these kinds of tragedies take place. But this is what was one of the worst in the nation's history, with 10,000 of the locals there present for this in a town that had a population of 100,000. So as this commemoration was coming up, I learned more about the story of Max Mason, the young circus worker from Alabama, the only person convicted of this fictitious rape of a white woman. There were 10,000 onlookers to those that murdered him. None of them were convicted of doing anything to anyone. And it was just a wrong that I felt needed to be righted, that his name needed to be cleared. There was a stain, frankly, that was hovering about the state that needed to be addressed also. And it seemed to be a worthwhile thing for me, but my law firm to get involved in.
Absolutely. Well, both of you are both members of what was definitely a dream team. Jerry Blackwell, Steve Schleicher. I don't know, Mr. Schleicher, if you're going to be compelled to do some beekeeping with your new partner in prosecution there, but we'll see. Let us know if he does, if you do join in. Thank y'all both. And